My name is Christian Mehta, and I'm a member of the Carnegie Council. I love the Council because of the opportunity it provides me to be exposed to thinkers and leaders from around the world and to broaden my perspective. But we need your help. To ensure the future of programs such as these, please support the Council's fund drive. Visit carnegiecouncil.org and click Donate/Join. Thank you.
We had Bill Easterly here earlier in the fall, and he gave the example of a pump, a local pump, and a development agency had installed it as a carousel. And they thought, well, this is going to be great because the villagers can get their water, build up their water supply with the kids playing on the carousel and come over and it'll be more efficient. But what ended up happening was nobody used the carousel for a carousel, and so the kids had to push this thing around in order to build up water, and it was work, not play.
Yep.
So the question is, how can you build in this kind of local sensitivity and make sure you're getting enough feedback to ensure that the implementation is effective?
When that idea was told to me, I thought it was absurd.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't hard to understand that was just not a great way to pump water, to build a big carousel. I remember the first time I heard it, and I wanted it to be the last time I heard it. Bill Easterly went after me in a book attacking the idea of distributing bed nets, which has been something that I was quite interested in on malaria. How did I know that it was the right thing to do to distribute bed nets? Because working on the ground in umpteen communities, making it my moral and intellectual and professional commitment to really understand malaria in depth, which I do and did because I took it as a moral commitment as well as a professional commitment, understanding a lot of the practical issues and really burning to solve this problem, not to make up things, but burning to solve this problem. I worked out with malariologists over a number of years a quite effective strategy of how this could be done. Then I faced relentless attack, and that in a way is par for the course, but I, again, regarded the attack as by people who hadn't made that effort, frankly, to really understand this and who didn't take it, who took it as an academic exercise where I was trying to fight a disease in real time, that I was seeing children die in front of my eyes, and I knew the urgency and the need for practical solutions, and I was working with some of the world's top malariologists. We finally made a breakthrough to get those bed nets out. And as I said, the evidence is that malaria deaths compared to the baseline are down probably somewhere around 40% in sub-Saharan Africa right now. And the numbers could go farther if the recommendations I'm making about community health workers and other things are actually heeded. In 2010, a randomized study was done of giving bed nets versus selling bed nets, and that showed that the approach I had been advocating for a decade was absolutely right. And then a number of academics said, oh, okay, now I get it. We should give the bed nets. Interesting, I'm glad that was done. There was another route to knowledge, and a very practical one if you were really interested in solving the problem and saw it as a burning issue, not as an occasion for doing another study, frankly. Bill Easterly came around several years later, not to me, but he then wrote some pieces saying, he'd been to a community and they needed the bed nets, and maybe people should be given those bed nets, which is fair enough. You're allowed to learn, and you need to learn on the process. Again, I'm going to make the point, and I can only convey a feeling and an experience. For those who were in the front lines of fighting this disease and putting aside all the donor politics and the gobbledygook that consumed it, there was a lot of knowledge about what to do. And there was a sense of urgency because it's a horrible disease and children die right and left if it's not controlled. And if you take it as a moral issue, which I do, meaning that there's a seriousness of one's life to get the right answers, I think we could have arrived at the right answer many years earlier.